Have you ever quietly asked yourself, who is watching me right now? Perhaps you are sitting in the early morning, holding a warm cup of tea, watching the clouds drift across the sky, when a question softly arose within. Who is it that knows I am sitting here? Or maybe you were lying in bed at night, after a long day, when the lights were off and everything around you became quiet. You could hear your own gentle breathing, feel the weight of your body on the bed, and then, suddenly, a small, clear question appeared. Who is it that is aware of all of this? This question may sound big, even spiritual, but in truth, it is deeply human and close to each of you, especially for those who are beginning to live more mindfully and wish to understand themselves more deeply. If this question has arisen within you, know that you are not alone. Many people, even those who appear strong and busy on the outside, have moments when they pause and quietly wonder, who am I in this life? You are now here with TT-Buddhism, a place where we share the Buddha's teachings in a gentle, clear, and practical way, helping us return to the present moment, live peacefully, and discover true freedom within. On the path of practice, we are not seeking complicated or grand answers to display to others. We simply wish to understand ourselves, to see how our minds truly work, and to find a way to live with more freedom and compassion. In today's video, we will explore the question, who is the self that watches the self? Through the lens of the Buddha's teachings, while also reflecting on what modern science has discovered about the nature of the mind. Why is this important? Because many times we believe we are observing ourselves clearly, but we are unknowingly caught in layer after layer of thoughts and identities, thinking they are me, and from there, we continue to experience fear, anxiety, and suffering. There is no need to rush to find an immediate answer. Simply sit here quietly, breathing softly, allowing this question to float within you like a gentle cloud. Let us journey through this reflection together, without haste, without expectation. Stay with us until the end of this journey, as we explore each layer of observation, each layer of the mind, together. Who knows? By the end, you may find a simple, profound lightness within your heart, a recognition that you do not need to search for who is watching to be at peace. You may discover that simply being present with your breath, your footsteps, your gentle awareness in this moment is already enough. Now, let us begin this exploration together, taking one gentle breath, one soft smile, and allowing ourselves to simply be here, fully present, as we enter Part 1 of today's reflection. Part 1. The question, who is watching? The first doorway. Have you ever sat quietly, breathing softly, with everything around you settling into stillness, when a question gently arises within? Who is watching me breathe? Or perhaps you are walking in the early morning, watching the sun rise, listening to the birds sing, when suddenly a thought appears, who knows that I am walking right now? Or maybe, at night, after a long day, you turn off the lights and lie down in the quiet of your room, listening to your own breathing, hearing the soft drift of your thoughts, when, for a brief moment, you ask yourself, who is listening to all of this? These questions may feel puzzling because they do not have immediate answers. But you know what? These questions are precious doors gently opening for you. Most of us live our days in a rush, caught in worries, irritation, desires, and reactions, without ever knowing that we are reacting, without knowing that we are thinking, without even knowing that we are breathing. We keep running, day after day, without even knowing why we are running. Until a moment like this comes, you pause and ask yourself, who is watching? That is a sign that you have begun to return to yourself. In the Anattalakkhaṇa Sutta, the discourse on the characteristics of non-self, the Buddha taught that this body, these feelings, these perceptions, these mental formations, and this consciousness, none of these are me, none of these are mine, none of these are my. self. They arise and pass away like clouds drifting across the sky, like the wind brushing over a field. The Buddha once said, "Thinking arises, but no thinker is to be found." End. As you sit quietly, you notice a thought arises. What should I do next? Then it fades. Another thought appears. I am breathing. Then it too disappears. You can observe thoughts coming and going, breaths flowing in and out, sensations arising and fading. But if you look deeply, you will not find any solid self standing behind these processes, controlling or owning them. Everything is simply a continuous process, functioning according to dependent origination. Because this condition is present, another condition arises. When this condition ceases, the other condition ceases too. Today, modern neuroscience shares insights that align closely with what the Buddha taught. When you sit quietly and observe yourself, a part of your brain known as the default mode network becomes active. This part of the brain is associated with thinking about oneself, about the past, about the future, and the stories we tell ourselves about me. When you ask, who is watching, the brain creates a sense that there is a watcher inside your head. But when scientists scan the brain, they find no control center, no hidden soul that is watching. Instead, they see electrical signals, neural impulses, and chemical reactions happening, then fading away. In this way, science and meditation meet. Whether we observe with machines or with our breath, we do not find a lasting self, only processes unfolding moment by moment. You might think, if there is no one watching, then what is the point of this question? But do you know what? This question is the first step that helps you awaken. Before, you may have lived on autopilot, reacting, seeking, getting angry, worrying, without even realizing you were alive. But when this question arises, you have begun to know that you are alive. You have begun to be truly present with your breath, your steps, and the sensations within your body and mind. You do not need to rush to find an answer. When the question, who is watching, arises, let it float by like a cloud and gently return to your breath, your steps, the silence within. Gradually, you will discover that there is no need for a self to be present for observation to happen. Observation itself, in its gentle purity, is enough to live deeply in each moment. You do not need to become perfect to observe yourself. You do not need to have the perfect answer to live in peace. Each time you breathe in, simply know, I am breathing in. Each time you breathe out, simply know, I am breathing out. When a thought arises, recognize, a thought is present. When a feeling arises, recognize, a feeling is present. That alone is already living mindfully, living with awareness, living with presence. The question, who is watching, does not need an immediate answer. It only needs to be lived, to be listened to, and to be held lightly. And that is the first doorway on the path to understanding your mind, to realizing that true freedom does not lie in knowing who you are, but in no longer fearing not knowing who you are. Take a deep, gentle breath, smile softly, and let us continue together with TT-Buddhism into part 2, where we will look deeper into the subtle layers of awareness to understand how the mind keeps creating a self to hold on to, and how to gently let it go, returning to freedom. Part 2. Layers of awareness. The mind as an onion. You may have heard that the mind is like an onion, with many layers to peel away. In the practice of observing ourselves, we begin to see these layers of awareness clearly, each layer seeming to bring us closer to truth. Yet, if we are not mindful, we continue to cling to each layer as me. The first layer appears when a strong emotion arises, like anger. Someone says something hurtful, or something does not go your way, and you feel heat rising in your chest, Your breath becomes heavy, your voice sharpens, your hands tighten. In that moment, a thought appears. I am angry. This thought feels natural, but hidden within it is the belief that this anger is mine, that I am the one owning and becoming this anger. But the Buddha taught a different way of seeing. Instead of saying, I am angry, we can simply recognize there is anger. This simple shift is a profound turning point in practice. Instead of identifying with the emotion, you begin to see it as a phenomenon arising and passing away, like a dark cloud drifting across the sky, present for a moment, then gone. The anger is no longer me. It is simply a process that arises due to conditions and fades away when conditions end. When you see this clearly, the anger loses its power to consume you. It becomes something you can breathe with, observe, and let pass, without clinging to it as a part of your identity. As you practice more deeply, you may notice another layer. I know that I am angry. Here, you are no longer fully swept away by the emotion. You observe the heat in your body, the tightness in your throat, the thoughts that arise wanting to argue or defend. This is an important step, helping you avoid reacting in anger and causing harm. But even at this level, there remains a subtle sense of I. I am the one observing, knowing, and holding the anger. This is simply another wave in the mind, a more refined awareness, but it is still a form of self-view. As your practice deepens further, you may begin to observe not only emotions but also the act of observing itself. You may notice a subtle thought arising. I am observing this entire process. This feels peaceful, as if you are standing outside of the emotions and thoughts, like a calm observer, untouched by the storms of life. Many practitioners stop here, thinking they have found the true self, the pure, silent observer within. But in reality, this is simply another layer of the Anattalakkhaṇa Sutta, quieter, lighter layer, but still a sense of I quietly present. In neuroscience, this is known as meta-awareness, the awareness that you are aware. When you observe yourself thinking or feeling, the brain activates regions responsible for monitoring and evaluating mental processes, creating the sense that there is a separate observer. However, neuroscientists explain that this sense of being the observer is just another process in the brain, not a hidden entity controlling everything, but simply processes observing other processes, which also arise and pass away. The Buddha taught that even the act of observing, even awareness itself, is a conditioned phenomenon arising due to causes, and it is not a self standing apart from everything else. In the Anattalakkhaṇa Sutta, the Buddha explained how consciousness arises based on conditions and does not exist independently. It does not belong to any me. When you look deeply, you will see that the mind truly is like an onion. You peel away the layer of I am angry and find I know I am angry. You peel that away and find I am observing all of this. With each layer removed, you may feel you have arrived at the truth, but when you look carefully, you will see it is just another layer of I. And when you patiently continue to observe and let go, you will discover there is nothing at the center. There is no me sitting there, owning, controlling, or managing. There is simply awareness unfolding naturally, requiring no owner, needing no watcher. When you see this, a gentle lightness begins to bloom within you. You no longer feel the need to protect a self, prove yourself, or hold on to anything. You can still live, breathe, walk, care, and love, but you no longer carry the weight of the story of me. You simply live, present in each moment, watching experiences arise and pass, like clouds drifting across the open sky. And this simplicity is what brings deep freedom. Take a gentle breath and a soft smile, and let us continue together with TT-Buddhism into the next part. where we will explore the invisible traps of the mind, understanding why we continue to cling to self, and how to gently let go, returning to the true freedom already within us. Part 3. The invisible traps of the mind. On the path of observing ourselves, there are invisible traps within the mind that are incredibly subtle. They are not loud, but quietly hold us back, even when we think we are practicing and moving toward freedom. The mind has a habit of connecting memories, feelings, past hurts, and joys into a continuous story. We repeat this story to ourselves every day without realizing it. We believe that this story is me. I am someone who has been hurt. I am someone who is unlucky. I am someone who has never been loved enough. This story quietly feeds our suffering. But in truth, memories are just memories, and feelings are just feelings. They are happening, but there is no one truly owning that story. Seeing this, we begin to let go. We can still honor the past and learn from what has happened, but we are no longer trapped within that story. The mind becomes lighter, no longer carrying unnecessary burdens. Another subtle trap is the way we use language when recognizing emotions. When we are sad, we say, "I am sad." When we are angry, we say, "I am angry." When we suffer, we say, "I am suffering." These familiar phrases unconsciously affirm that there is an I owning these emotions. Because of this, we feel heavier, more stuck within what is happening. The Buddha taught that instead of saying, "I am sad," we can recognize there is sadness. Instead of, "I am angry," we can see there is anger. This way of practicing is deeply liberating. When practicing like this, you will notice a gentle space between yourself and the emotion. The emotion is still there, but it is no longer you. It is simply a phenomenon that comes and goes. Emotions arise, then pass away. We do not need to hate them or cling to them. We simply observe, smile, and breathe with them. This is a way to live more freely in each moment. A subtler trap is when we practice observing and reach a state of calm. We may begin to think, "I am the observer." We feel as though we are standing outside of the movements of life. This state feels pleasant and light because we are no longer swept away by emotions or thoughts. But if we stop here, we unknowingly create a new self. It is a subtler, purer self, but it is still a self. We may think we have found the pure observer, but it is actually another layer of attachment that the mind quietly creates. The Buddha taught that even the idea of "I am the observer" is still a concept to be released. If we still cling to it, we have not yet found true freedom within ourselves. Freedom is not about holding on to any idea, no matter how beautiful. It is about the capacity to let go of all ideas and return to the clarity already present in each moment. When we let go of the idea of being the observer, we can begin to feel true lightness. There is no one left to protect, no one left to prove, no one left to hold on to. There is only life unfolding, simple, fresh, and clear. Life continues, but your mind is no longer bound by stories or concepts of self. These three traps: the story of self, the language that strengthens self, and the subtle idea of being the observer, are quiet and easy to fall into without realizing. Ask yourself, am I caught in any of these traps? If you see it, simply smile, take a gentle breath, and return to simple awareness in the present moment. You do not need to run away from emotions, nor do you need to create a new self to avoid life. You only need to live fully with each breath, each step, each smile. Freedom is not about avoiding stories or emotions, but recognizing that they are happening, while no one needs to own, control, or protect anything within them. What remains is life, unfolding naturally, gently, with no one holding on to it. Take a deep breath, smile, and I invite you to continue. to the next part, with TT-Buddhism. Part 4. There is no one watching, only watching is happening. As you sit quietly, observing your breath moving in and out, sometimes a question may appear. Who is watching this breath? It may feel like an important question, but when you look deeply, you will see that it is just another thought, arising and passing, like any other thought in your day. The Buddha taught, all phenomena are non-self. This means that everything, including awareness itself, does not belong to anyone, does not have an owner, and there is no self behind it, controlling or possessing it. Awareness is not owned by anyone. It is simply a natural process unfolding moment by moment. You can imagine a mirror. A mirror reflects everything that passes in front of it: faces, light, movement, colors, yet it holds on to nothing. When the images pass, the mirror remains clear, untouched, and unburdened. Or you can imagine a quiet lake. When the sky is clear, the lake reflects the blue sky. When clouds pass, the lake reflects the clouds. But as the clouds drift away, the lake does not hold on to them. It simply returns to its quiet presence. Your awareness is just like that. It reflects feelings, thoughts, sounds, images, sense, but it does not need to hold on to them, nor does it need to become them. It simply knows and allows everything to pass naturally. Modern neuroscience also supports this. When you let go of the idea of I, the part of the brain called the default mode network, which is linked to thoughts about oneself, begins to quiet down. As this activity settles, you experience a deeper peace, a sense of spaciousness within. Studies show that when this part of the brain is less active, you are less likely to fall into worry, regret, or constant storytelling about yourself. You begin to live in the present, fully with your breath, your steps, and the simple activities of daily life. When the question, who is watching, arises, you do not need to rush to answer it, nor do you need to push it away. Simply recognize that it is just another thought appearing in the mind, and gently return to your breath, to the contact of your body with the earth, to the silence that is present around you. You will see that when you stop chasing this question and stop trying to answer it, it will naturally dissolve, like a cloud disappearing into the sky. What remains is pure awareness, needing no owner, requiring no self to claim it, no one to hold it. Watching continues to happen, but there is no one watching. The breath continues to flow in and out, sounds arise and fade away, sensations appear and disappear. Thoughts are born and pass away, but there is no me behind any of these. There is only life unfolding, naturally. This does not make you careless or disconnected. On the contrary, when there is no self to protect, nothing to guard or defend, you will live more fully, with a quiet joy. You still work, care for your family, love, learn, and serve, but all of it is done with a freedom that feels light and open. When there is no one watching, only the watching itself remains. You will discover a deep peace, because there is no longer a self that needs to fear, to protect, to grasp, or to prove itself. Everything still happens, but you are not carried away by it, nor do you feel that you are being carried away. The breath continues to flow, but there is no I who is breathing. Silence remains present, but there is no I who is holding on to silence. You simply breathe, walk, and smile, allowing life to flow naturally. This is not a philosophy to believe in, but a reality you can directly experience for yourself while sitting quietly, washing dishes, walking, or sitting beside someone you love. Each time the question, who is watching, arises, you can simply smile, breathe, and recognize it as just a thought, returning to the life that is present here and now. You do not need to rush. You do not need to grasp. You do not need to become anyone. You only need to be present, to breathe, and to allow this natural awareness to unfold in each moment. When this practice becomes a part of your daily life, you will see that you do not need to find a watcher in order to be at peace, because peace is already here, within the pure watching itself. Take a gentle breath, smile softly, and continue to walk in the lightness of the present moment. This is the gift of freedom the Buddha pointed to. There is no one watching. Only watching is happening. Part 5. True Freedom. Living without a self to protect. Letting go of the self does not mean giving up on life, nor does it mean losing your direction or becoming indifferent to the world around you. Letting go of the self means you continue to live fully, to care for your family, to work, to learn, to love, and to serve, but without being bound by the stories of me and mine within every reaction. You can still wake up in the morning, prepare breakfast, go to work, fulfill your responsibilities, care for your loved ones, and contribute to your community. But you do all these with an open heart and a spacious mind, no longer tightening around the need to protect or prove a self with every word and action. When suffering comes, instead of immediately asking, "Why am I suffering?" or "Why is this happening to me?" you simply recognize this is suffering, without judgment, without self-blame, without resentment. You see suffering as it is a natural part of life that arises and will pass. When joy comes, instead of clinging to it or fearing its loss, you simply recognize this is joy. You allow yourself to feel its warmth, lightness, and simplicity, knowing that it too will pass, like clouds drifting across the sky. Living like this, you live like the open sky. When the rain falls, the sky does not get wet. When clouds pass, the sky does not hold on to them. When the sun shines, the sky remains spacious, receiving everything without clinging to anything. Your life can also become like this. Feelings of sadness, anger, and fear may still come, but you do not need to reject them, nor do you need to claim them as yourself. Feelings of joy, peace, and lightness may also come, and you do not need to grasp them or fear their loss. You simply let everything come and go, like visitors passing through, while you remain present, clear, and peaceful. This is true freedom. It is not the absence of emotions or thoughts, but the absence of attachment to them. It is the freedom that comes when you stop building your identity around experiences and stories and allow life to flow through you naturally. The Buddha taught that all phenomena are impermanent, unsatisfactory, and non-self. This teaching is not just for intellectual understanding, but for living, feeling, and practicing in each breath and step. When you live without the need to protect a self, you will discover how much lighter life feels. You no longer carry the burden of needing to be right, needing recognition, needing to win, or protecting an image of who you think you should be. You can love without clinging. You can care without fear. You can serve without expecting praise or acknowledgement. You can rest deeply within the flow of life, allowing it to move through you naturally. This does not mean you become passive or lose your unique expression in life. On the contrary, you may find yourself acting with more clarity, compassion, and connection because there is no self getting in the way, demanding to be seen, defended, or rewarded. When challenges come, you meet them with a calm mind. When mistakes happen, you learn from them without heavy self-criticism. When others praise you, you receive it with gratitude, but do not build your worth upon it. When others criticize you, you listen, reflect, and let it pass, without letting it define you. Living this way brings deep peace, a stable inner freedom that is not shaken by the constant changes of the world. It is like being rooted deeply in the earth, allowing the winds of life to pass without disturbing your inner stillness. In daily practice, you can return to this freedom with simple reminders. When an emotion arises, pause and name it. This is sadness. This is anger. This is joy. This gentle naming creates space, reminding you that these are just experiences, not who you are. You can also return to your breath, feeling it flow in and out, anchoring you in the present moment. Each breath reminds you of impermanence, of life's constant flow, and of the freedom you have to let things be as they are. And when the question, "Who am I?" arises, you can smile, recognizing that even this question is impermanent, empty, and does not need an urgent answer. It is simply another wave on the calm surface of awareness, arising and falling away without leaving a trace. You do not need a final answer to live freely. Freedom comes when there is no one left to protect, no self left to defend, no image left to maintain. What remains is a gentle, open presence, seeing everything come and go without clinging, resisting, or identifying. Take a soft breath, smile, and allow yourself to rest in this natural awareness. Let life flow through you. Let emotions arise and pass. Let thoughts come and go while you remain present, clear, and fully alive. This is true freedom living, without a self to protect, while embracing each moment of this impermanent life with love and presence. As you sit quietly, breathing in and out, observing a thought that has just arisen or a feeling that has just appeared, you may begin to see clearly there is no person sitting behind all of this, watching. There is only watching happening, gently, naturally, like a calm lake reflecting the sky, like a clear mirror reflecting all images that pass without needing to hold on to any of them. There is no self that needs to be protected, proven, or defended. No me that must always be right, strong, or perfect. There is only life, unfolding moment by moment within each breath, each step, each breeze that touches your skin, each morning sunlight streaming through the leaves. There is only life, flowing freely, unblocked by the idea of me and mine. You can still work, love, care for your family, and serve your community. But you do all of these without the burden of a self driven by fear and anxiety. You act with a light heart, with deep presence, with the simple joy of being alive, breathing, and contributing, without clinging, without grasping, and without fear of loss. When suffering comes, you do not need to ask, "Why am I suffering?" You simply recognize, "This is suffering," and you breathe with that suffering, patiently, gently, letting it pass like a brief rain shower moving across the sky. When joy arrives, you do not need to fear its loss or rush to hold on to it. You simply recognize, "This is joy." You smile with that joy, present with it fully, letting it flow through you as it will. Living this way, you live like the open sky. The rain may fall, but the sky is not wet. Clouds may pass, but the sky holds on to none of them. The sun may shine brightly, but the sky remains spacious, receiving everything yet clinging to nothing. Your life can become like this, too. Feelings of sadness, frustration, and fear may still arise, but you do not need to reject them or claim them as yours. Feelings of joy, peace, and contentment may arise, and you do not need to grasp them tightly or fear their loss. You simply let them come and go, like visitors, while you remain present, clear, and open. This is true freedom. It is not the absence of emotions or thoughts, but the absence of attachment to them. It is the freedom that comes when you no longer build your identity around experiences or stories, but allow life to flow through you naturally. The Buddha taught that all phenomena are impermanent, unsatisfactory, and non-self. This is not a teaching meant to be memorized, but to be lived, felt, and practiced in each breath and step. When you live without needing to protect a self, you will discover how light life can feel. You no longer carry the heavy burden of needing to be right, to be recognized, to win, or to protect an image of who you think you are. You can love without clinging, care without fear, serve without seeking praise, and rest deeply in the natural flow of life. This does not make you passive or without personality. Rather, you may find yourself acting with more clarity, compassion, and connection because there is no self in the way, demanding to be seen, defended, or rewarded. When difficulties come, you meet them with calm. When mistakes happen, you learn from them without harsh self-blame. When praise comes, you receive it with gratitude, but do not build your worth on it. When criticism comes, you listen, reflect, and let it pass without letting it define you. Living in this way brings a deep, unshakable peace, a stable inner freedom that remains even as the world changes around you. It is like being deeply rooted in the earth, allowing the winds of life to pass without disturbing your inner stillness. You can return to this freedom through simple daily reminders. When an emotion arises, pause and name it softly. This is sadness. This is anger. This is joy. This gentle naming creates space, reminding you that these are just experiences, not who you are. You can also return to your breath, feeling it flowing in and out, anchoring you in the present moment. Each breath reminds you of impermanence, the flow of life, and the freedom you have to let everything be as it is. And when the question, "Who am I?" arises, you can smile gently, recognizing that even this question is impermanent, empty, and does not need an immediate answer. It is simply another wave on the calm surface of awareness, arising and falling without leaving a trace. You do not need a final answer to live freely. Freedom comes when there is no one left to protect, no self left to defend, no image left to maintain. What remains is a gentle, open presence, seeing all things come and go without grasping, resisting, or identifying. Take a gentle breath, smile softly, and allow yourself to rest in this natural awareness. Let life flow through you. Let feelings arise and pass. Let thoughts come and go while you remain present, clear, and fully alive. And when you realize this, a deep peace will begin to bloom within you. If you have carried this question in your heart for many years, wondering who you are, know that you are not alone. The Buddha himself once asked this question, and he, too, smiled when he saw that even this question is impermanent and empty, requiring no final answer. If this sharing has helped you breathe a little lighter, you are warmly invited to leave a comment below or to share this video with someone who may need it right now. You may also wish to click like and subscribe to TT-Buddhism, so we may continue to walk together on this path of mindfulness, where each video becomes a gentle breath, a mindful step, a reminder that you are already complete in the simple act of being fully present. Thank you for journeying with us to the end of this reflection, with your mindful breath and open heart. May you continue to live with freedom, without a self to protect, and with love and presence in every moment of this impermanent life.